Okay, so in this clip, we're going to look at metal extraction, and we're going to look at it in terms of displacement or smelting reactions. And we're going to look at copper oxide in the first example, and we're going to react this in its common way with carbon, charcoal. And looking at this reaction, we're going to try to produce copper metal. And in doing so, the carbon is going to react with the oxygen present as the oxide in copper oxide. And this is going to produce, as a product of that reaction, carbon dioxide. In doing so, that is then going to leave the copper metal as the desired product of that reaction. And the carbon is going to have reacted to produce carbon dioxide. If we were to then look at this equation in its ionic form, so we were going to take the ions, or more importantly, just the metal ions. So we can look at the copper 2 plus ion. Copper oxide is present as the copper 2 oxide in this example, and it is going to produce copper metal, copper 0 with a neutral charge. And we can see from here that the copper 2 plus is having its charge reduced, lowered from 2 positives to a 0 charge, neutral, and that is what we regard as a reduction reaction. The copper 2 plus is reduced. This is undergoing reduction, and reduction is known as the gain of electrons. So reduction is the gain of electrons. The reduction relates to the charge. We're going from, as we just said, a 2 plus charge to a neutral 0 charge. So we are reducing the charge by the gaining of electrons. Okay, now those electrons have had to come from somewhere, and they have come from the carbon. The carbon in this reaction is the driving force and is acting as what is called the reducing agent. And in doing that, it allows for the transfer of electrons from the copper 2 ion to the copper 0 metal, allowing that reduction to occur. And in doing so, the carbon is reacting with oxygen oxide. I'll just kind of bracket that because I'm not entirely want to go into where the oxygen or how the oxygen is present, but it's reacting with the oxygen oxide and is producing carbon dioxide. But the key principle there is that it is having or undergoing the process of having oxygen added to the molecule, or creating a molecule with oxygen in it. And obviously for our situation here, we're going to be producing carbon dioxide, CO2. The name given to this is obviously the gain of oxygen, can be regarded as oxidation reaction. And in terms of electrons, it is the loss of electrons. And this loss of electrons from the carbon occurs simultaneously, so that the carbon loses electrons or gives electrons, allowing the copper 2 plus to gain those electrons. And so we have to have both of these processes occurring simultaneously for that to occur. But the primary driving force for this reaction is that the reducing agent, carbon in this example, has to be, and this is important, it has to be more reactive than the metal you are trying to extract. So in this example, it's copper. Carbon is more reactive than copper,